Hey guys, welcome back to Makeup Vibes. I hope everyone is doing amazing, is doing well, staying healthy. I am excited for this video. Today I am going through all my eyeshadow palettes. I have too many eyeshadow palettes. Like, I just have two damn eyeballs. Like, I don't need this many palettes. Plus, I feel like my style and my tastes have changed a lot. About like 2 years ago, I really got into eyeshadow and I just bought like every color ever. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes that I'm not using. It just feels really wasteful. So let's get to it, guys. So I keep all my eyeshadows in this bin right here. And oh my god, it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. And then I still have some here as well. So the first declutter that I did videotape that one. I was getting rid of a lot of makeup. I did get rid of some eyeshadow palettes, but now it's gotten to the point where I have too many and I just need to get rid of some because it's overwhelming. I keep this bin under the sink. I try to alternate my palettes, but it's just I keep using the same ones. By the way, guys, do you like my caboodle? I'm such a girly girl sometimes. And this is where I keep my everyday makeup. I try to change my makeup every week. One day I'll go over my system, but today we're talking about eyeshadow palettes. So I think the ones that I'm keeping, I'm gonna keep on one side, and the ones that I'm getting rid of, I'm gonna put it on the other side. All right, I am ready. First one, I am just gonna pick these up randomly. All right, the first one I have is this Milani Pure Passion palette, and let me open this up, and it looks like this. It has a really high-end vibe going on, and the formula too is really at par. But am I really using these colors? I actually haven't used this palette in a while, and now that fall is coming, I feel like I could use a lot more of these colors. I am not into shimmers at the moment. I am all about matte vibes, and these two rows are just pumpkin spice fall colors. So I'm gonna keep this. Okay, so this is Milani's Most Wanted eyeshadow palette in Partner in Crime, and this is what it looks like. And yes, these shades look so pretty, but the formula I just did not like at all. It was very not pigmented at all. It was very muddy. It didn't blend well, so I could easily get rid of that one. Okay, so next one I love the formula of these shadows. These shadows are so good. And this is BH Cosmetics, their Weekend Festival palette. Oh my god, look at these colors. Look at these colors, they're so pretty. So I brought this shadow out into like my everyday routine, and I tried using like the colorful ones, and I had to take it off because it's just too much color for my taste. But I just don't want to get rid of it. Okay, I'm gonna have a maybe pile because we need a maybe pile. Unfortunately, they don't make this anymore. I don't think so. I think it was like limited edition, but BH Cosmetics, their shadows are ridiculously amazing. All right, this next palette is by Maybelline, and this is their Nudes of New York, and it looks like this. Guys, this eyeshadow palette is everything. It has all these amazing nudes that you're just gonna need. These are all the nudes that you're gonna need in your life. The formula is amazing. The eyeshadow blends out so nicely, so effortlessly. When I got this, I literally used this for like a month straight because it's that good. This is such an underrated eyeshadow palette. Amazing quality, amazing formula. This is like one of my faves for sure. Definitely gonna keep that. Next palette I have is by Milani. It's their everyday eyeshadow, and then it looks like this. I'm not sure if they still sell this palette, but this is the purple one, and I really love the look that I get with this. With these shadows, you really get like, if you're looking for like a wearable purple moment, this looks so good. And let me think about this one. All right, so this next palette is by BH Cosmetics, their Glam Reflection palette in L'Amour. This is what it looks like on the inside. So this one I'm going to pass on. I don't even remember the last time that I used this. I remember using it maybe once, so that's a sign that it has to go. Okay, I have another Maybelline palette, and this is their Matte Bar. Guys, this palette is so good as well. It's perfection. Like, it has all matte. It's blend out so easily, so effortlessly. It just is so perfect for every day, for just that minimal look. These are just so good. The formula is amazing. This is another super underrated palette that really nobody talks about. They're just so good. So good. When I initially got this palette as well, I was using it like non-stop. They're so creamy. They're a tad bit powdery, but nothing like too crazy. If you love neutrals and you love mattes, this is a really good palette. So I'm gonna keep this one. So this next one is by Rimmel, and this is their Magnify Eye Spice Edition, and it's the one that looks like this in this packaging. And guys, look at these colors. They look so like pumpkin, spice, fall, just that whole vibe. But I feel like I already have a lot of these shades in the palettes that I am keeping. So this palette is good. The formula is good, but it's a little basic. I don't know. There's just something about it that it's kind of missing. I don't know what it is. It's still good for the price. I believe this is like around $7. So this one I'm gonna get rid of. Okay. Next palette I have a lot of BH Cosmetic palettes. I think half of these are BH Cosmetics. Alright, so the next palette I have is the Carly Bible palettes, and this is what it looks like. So they don't make this anymore, and oh my god, when I first got this, I was so obsessed with all these mattes and all how everything is organized, how these shades is kind of go together. This row goes together. This is more of a peachy, this is more of a berry, and this is more like browns. So like I said, BH Cosmetics, their eyeshadows are so good. They really feel high-end. They'll blend out amazing. At least the ones that I tried, they're just so good. This is gonna go on the maybe pile because I haven't used this palette in a while, but I can see myself using these. But let me think about it. Next one. Okay, let's choose a non-BH Cosmetics palette. Profusion. If you guys ever heard of Profusion, they sell Profusion at Walmart. I know they sell at Target. This is their Infatuation palette, and it looks like this. Their formulas are really good as well. For being $10, look how many eyeshadows you get. So this is really good. I actually haven't used this palette in a while. I've used it a couple times, but looking at this, it really inspires me to want to use it. So I'm definitely gonna keep this. So this next one is by LA Girl, and this is their nudist palette, and it looks like this. And I'm gonna be really careful opening it just because one of the shadows already shattered, and it's their black one. This palette, I feel like it's nice. The shadows are okay. Sometimes I had a little trouble blending them out, and I feel like I have a lot of these colors or shades that I'm keeping in the palettes that I am keeping, so I'm going to pass on this one. Next palette that I have is by Elle, and this is in Summer Breeze. This is what the shadows look like, and let me think about this one. So let me put it in the maybe pile. Okay, so this next little eyeshadow palette is actually a little quad, and this is by Physicians Formula, and this is called their Classic Nude Healthy Eyeshadow. And it looks like this. This little cutie stays in my travel bag because this is such a cute little palette to have. This is another palette that's really underrated. Their Classic Nude. I know it looks boring, but the formula is really good. They blend out easily. So I'm going to put this little one back in my little travel bag. Next little palette is by Believe Beauties. Believe Beauty, you can get this at Dollar General, and it looks like this. I already had one of the shadows kind of crack here. The reason why I'm getting rid of this one is just because I'm not using them. I do have another one of their palettes that one is really good, but this one just underperformed. So this one I'm going to pass. So this next palette I actually did a review on this palette like a year ago. By BH Cosmetics, their Hanging in Hawaii palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's very warm tone, very summery, obviously. Broken record here, but BH Cosmetics, their shadows are so good. And even like their shimmers, I'm not using shimmers nowadays, but their shimmers are so pigmented, they're so reflective, so just so pretty. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not using shippers nowadays. I'm for sure keeping this one. So the next palette is by Milani, and this is their Soft and Sultry palette. Yes, I know it's like super dirty. This is what this looks like, and I think this is my only cool tone palette that I have. I think so. No, I have another one that's kind of cool tone, but this is like legit cool tone palette. I think I've only used this maybe once or twice. So let me think about this one. This is gonna go in the maybe pile. Alright, so the next palette that I have is by Wet n Wild. Alright guys, don't come at me for the dirty palettes. I know, I know. Okay, so this is what this one looks like, and this is actually kind of cool tone. I feel like this is kind of cool tone going on. The formula of these color icons, the ones that are in this packaging, they are super amazing, and these are $5. I think they have like 5 or 4 of these. I think I have no, I have tengo todos. Oh my god, like how embarrassing. But they're $5. I love what's going on in this color story, but I'm thinking, am I gonna use this? I know I use this, and that, and I know I'm only using like the matte shades in this. So guys, this is getting hard, so I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. So this next palette is by BH again, and this is their Take Me Back to Brazil. This is their Rio edition. So the Rio edition is just a rainbow palette and a shimmer finish. I'm not using crazy colors nowadays. I'm super neutral, and as much as I love this palette, like the colors, it just looks so pretty. Like I love the aesthetics of it. I'm gonna pass on this just because I'm not using, I don't think I've used this more than 1 or 2 times, like for realsies. Okay, so I'm actually gonna grab the original one, and this is their Take Me Back to Brazil, and this is the original one, and it looks like this, and it's just a colorful palette, and it's in matte. So like when I look at this, I'm just like, oh my god, I want to use color, but I am like 30 something years old. Like, am I too old to be using these colors? I don't think so. I don't think you're ever old enough to do. You could do whatever you want. Do what makes you happy. Do you. If you want to wear purple eyeshadow, do it. But for me personally, I'm just not using any of these colors, and as much as I want to keep this palette because I aesthetically like how it looks and it's just pleasing to look at all these colors, I'm gonna pass this palette. And I remember when I first saw this palette, I was just like, oh my god, like I need this palette in my life, and I've only used it a handful of times, so it's time to pass it on. And the handful of times I did use it was like for Halloween. What if I have a Halloween moment? Should I just keep it? Maybe pile. Alright, so this next palette is by Ulta Beauty, and this was a collaboration with Melissa Michelle. So they don't make this palette anymore, but this is what it looks like. This is the front. It's really, really pretty. It comes with like a liquid glitter liner, and it's very berry tones, some browns here, but I feel like the majority are kind of berry tones with some glitter, some gold, some green. Although I haven't used this palette in a while, it's been a minute, I definitely see myself using these. I am going to keep this. Okay, so this next little palette, this is by Believe Beauty, and it looks like this. The shades are really pigmented. They blend out really nicely. The shade right here is so good. I actually have not used this in a minute. Let me put this in the maybe pile. So the next palette that I have is probably my most expensive palette. I'm not really into high-end makeup, and this is by Anastasia. This is their Sultry palette, and I'm so sad that they don't make this anymore. This was discontinued. That's what it looks like, and I actually have not used this in a really long time. Can't really go wrong with a BH formula. I totally forgot like I had this palette, so I'm definitely keeping this one. It's really, really good. Alright guys, another BH palette. This is their Aurora Lights palette. I'm not sure if they still make this. This baked formula is really, really highly pigmented. They're so good. I'm gonna pass on this because again, I'm not using like colors like these, especially shimmers. Okay, so the next palette that I have is actually very similar to that Aurora Lights palette, and this is their Solar Flare one, and it looks like this, and it's the same kind of layout with the baked shadows. So let me think about this one because these are very pretty, and this purple one, I don't know. Purple's kind of calling out my name right now. Maybe Baby Pile. Alright, so this next one I have is by Milani. And this is their Most Love Mattes in 01. This is what it looks like. I think I have all three. And I love the layout of these because you have your reds, your berries, and your browns. And it's all matte. And since I am loving matte formulas, I'm definitely going to keep this one. Okay, so this next palette is by e.l.f. Mad for Matte. This is more of their cooler tone palettes. They're so pretty to look at. So the formula of these, they're really, really good. And I believe these are like $10, the ones that come in this packaging. So even though the formula is really, really good, so I'm already keeping the sultry palette. I'm gonna pass on this. Another e.l.f. palette that I have, they actually don't make it anymore. It was a limited edition. This is the Modern Metals palette, and I am for sure keeping this one. So I'm gonna keep that, even though it's limited edition. Alright guys, don't make fun of me, don't come at me, don't throw all this shade at me because I got a ugly busted eyeshadow palette that I've had for years. Look at this. Look at that. Super old. So this is my original Naked palette. This is the first high-end palette. I think like everybody definitely had this palette. I paid $50 for this palette. And they're still $50, and that was probably like 10 years ago. This has sentimental value, guys. Like, this is my first expensive palette. This is when I first got into makeup. This is what started this obsession with makeup. Definitely I'm not gonna use this. This is super old. Look how much I use Buff. I think it's time for me to throw this away. Or should I keep it? I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, let's put it in the maybe pile. So I'm gonna talk about these next three palettes all at once. These are the When Wild, they're Color Icon. The formula of these shadows are ridiculously amazing for being $5. I love the matte so much. They're just so pigmented. They blend out like a dream, like butter. But the only thing is, like, I do not use any of the shimmer ones. So I'm for sure gonna keep this Rose in the Air. This is an all matte, so I'm definitely gonna keep this one. And for these two, this is such a fall palette. And I don't know if they still make this. And this was in Coffin Break. And then this one is in Basic Peach. I know for sure they still sell this one. But for sure I'm going to keep these. I totally forgot I had these. These are so good. I love the mattes on here. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. Okay guys, so thank you for telling me that I had black stuff, black eyeshadow all over my face. I'm looking at the palettes that I have left. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. And I think I'm keeping all these. But I'm going to quickly go through them. Okay, so this one, it looks super beat up. And this is the Pixie Let's Talk Eyes. I don't think that they sell this anymore. This is the only Pixie palette that I have. As far as eyeshadow, I used to have another palette and I got rid of it, but I love the mattes. So the mattes in here, they're super good, and then the shimmers, they're really, really great. This is a really good palette. And Pixie, I feel like Pixie shadows are like kind of hit and miss, and that one was definitely like a really, really good one. Alright guys, I'm gonna move on. So another one I'm keeping is this e.l.f. The New Classics. Oh my gosh, when I first got this, I was using it like non-stop. All their matte shades, amazing. So their first row, except for this one, it's all matte. Definitely use all of these. This, I use more of half of this side more. The mattes in this palette, they're so good. They're amazeballs. They're just perfect. I love this palette so much. It's such a staple eyeshadow palette for sure. So I'm keeping this. Alright, the next one that I have is another big Profusion palette, and this is their Confidence palette, and this has a lot of fall colors. This orange situation looks so pretty. I think I might have used this palette once because it just looks too brand new. So I am definitely going to keep this one, and I'm going to use it for the fall. Alright, the next palette, this one's by Cara. This is their ES08, and it has 35 shades, and this is what this palette looks like. So This palette has a lot of browns, a lot of neutrals, some purples. This palette I have not used in a really long time. And the reason why I think it's because there's just too many options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably buy like a smaller compact where I could pop out these shadows and kind of make my own custom palette, because it's too much. It's too many choices. But I'm gonna keep this one for sure, and I think this was like $20. This is the Emily Edit palette, and it broke, of course, but this is what it looks like. And for a minute this was in my travel bag because it has bronzer, blush, highlight. This highlight, by the way, is so beautiful. It's very light. It's not super crazy, but it just looks so pretty. And these matte shadows are so good. And then I would use Kindness for a setting powder. I would definitely buy this palette again. I wish this packaging would have been better. Alright guys, so I went through all my eyeshadow palettes. Now I have my maybe pile that I need to go through and really think about what I want to keep and get rid of. I feel like I need to get rid of more because the whole point of this was for me to just like really like, you know, I need to get rid of some. Alright, so for sure let this one go, the Solar Flare one, only because like I said, I am not using shimmers nowadays, even though it looks so pretty. I'm not using it, so I'm gonna pass on that one. I need to pick between these two because these two are colorful palettes. I feel like I at least need one colorful palette. So if I had to choose between these two, I would definitely keep this one. This little Milani compact right here, I'm gonna pass on this one even though I love the look that I get. Alright, so I'm gonna keep this Wet n Wild Color Icon in Bright Awakening. This is more of a cool tone, so I'm going to keep this one. I am also going to keep the Believe Beauty one because I want to make a Believe Beauty video. Alright, so I got this Milani Soft and Sultry. I don't know guys, what do you think? What do you think? I'm going to pass on this one, Wet n Wild one, the Summer Breeze. I would use each and every shade, so I'm going to keep that because I would use every shade. Alright, so I have the Carly Bible palette and then this Tore Up Naked palette. I'm going to keep the Carly Bible palette because this is a really good solid palette. I'm going to keep it and we'll see. Alright, so the last palette that I have is my Tore Up Naked palette. Obio, I'm not going to use this palette. Oh my god, I just have like eyeshadow all over my face. I'm going to just hold on to this. Hold on to it more time. It just need more time with it. I just need more time, you know, just give us a moment. Alright guys, so that's it. Hopefully you guys are inspired to go through your makeup and just get rid of stuff you're not really using. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good day, have a good night, stay safe. Alright guys, bye.